Hello everyone. Today our group will discuss Minute 1, which focuses on a Year 11 student named Alex. Alex is passionate about environmental science and originally achieved strong academic results in earth and environmental science. However, during the second half of the year, Alex became disinterested from learning and their performance declined. Our investigations found that repeated explicit instructions reduced Alex's confidence and attention in class, while ongoing bullying also negatively affected well-being and identity development. In this presentation, we'll discuss the academic and social challenge affecting Alex and suggest strategies to support the learning and well-being. So the first challenge identified in the literature is Alex's academic disengagement. Research showed that direct or explicit instruction is highly effective when student offers learning new scientific concepts and procedure. This teaching approach provides clear guidance and helps students build foundational knowledge successfully. In Alex's case, this explains why they achieved strong results during the first half of the year. However, study also suggests that once students develop automaticity and master the required skill, continuing the same level of step-by-step instructions can create redundancy effects. In other words, repeated explanations and over scaffolding may reduce attention, motivations, and cognitive engagement because students are no longer being intellectually challenging. The literature also highlights the importance of academic self-efficacy, which refer to student belief in their ability to learn and succeed independently. High self-efficacy is strongly connected to persistence, engagement, and academic achievement. When students lose confidence in their own learning abilities, this academic performance may decline. For Alex, the content's reliance on explicit instruction appeared to have reduced their confidence in working independently and contributed to disengagement in class. According to Albert and College in 2023, students in this situation benefit from a gradual transitions from a full teacher guidance toward guided inquiry learning, where supported progressively reduced as students become more capable and independent. The second major issue affecting Alex is the social and emotional impact of bullying. Research showed that bullying can lead to emotional dysregulations, lower mental well-being, reduced school belonging, and weaker academic engagement. Adolescents who experience bullying often show lower self-efficacy, meaning that social trauma can also negatively affect academic performance and participations at school. In Alex's situations, the bullying is identity-based because it's target both physical appearance and personal value related to environmental advocacy. Literature suggests that this type of bullying can significantly harm identity development during adolescence, especially when students begin questioning important aspects of who they are. However, study by Wei and College in 2024 demonstrate that supportive peer relationship and positive school environments can reduce the harmful effect of bullying and improve students' sense of belonging.
Hi everyone, and in this section, I will explain why explicit instruction is no longer fully effective for Alex and why alternative pedagogical approaches are now more appropriate. At the beginning, explicit instruction support Alex successfully. It helped him build foundational scientific knowledge, reduce cognitive overload, and improve his early academic confidence. However, over time, problems began to emerge. According to cognitive load theory, when students receive too much repeated guidance after mastering basic concepts, a redundancy effect can occur. So this means the instructional support that was once helpful may eventually become unnecessary and reduce students' engagement. For Alex, excessive scaffolding has gradually weakened his confidence in independent learning. Instead of exploring ideas autonomously, he has become increasingly reliant on teacher direction. As a result, his motivation and participation has declined. Research by Sweller, Van Messi-Nichols, and Pels supports the idea that instruction approach need to be involved as learner develop to greater expertise. At the same time, Alex is also experienced significant social emotional challenges. He had experienced online bullying, identifying confusion, and a reduced sense of belongings at school. So these factors are affecting not only his emotional well-being, but also his engagement with and Ngoc and DeBando highlight that self-efficacy strongly influences student motivation and persistence. When students lose confidence in their abilities, they often withdraw from challenging learning. In addition, Phuong and Kaplan argue that adolescence is an important stage for identity development. Because Alex is strongly identifies with environmental advocacies, navigate peers' response may threaten his developing sense of self. Therefore, I select 3 pedagogical directions to better support Alex. First, guided inquiry learning can gradually rebuild independence and reduce overtime reliance on explicit instructions. Second, strengths-based teaching validate Alex's environmental interests and support positive identity development. Third, structural collaborative learning can help him rebuild peer belongings in a safer and more supportive social environment. So together, these approaches aim to support Alex academically, socially, emotionally, and cognitively. Here are 3 instructional strategies designed to respond directly to Alex's cognitive, motivational, and social emotional needs to differentiate classroom design. The first strategy is guided inquiry learning. Alex is engaged in an open-ended environment inquiry task centered on a real-world sustainability issue within the local community. He is provided with guiding prompts to support his investigations, such as what patterns can be identified in that data, what evidence support in this issue as an environmental concern, and how different sources of information might lead to different interpretations. Rather than completing a fixed procedural worksheet, Alex is required to plan his own investigation, select relevant information resource, and construct a recent explanation supported by evidence. The tasks also include checkpoints where he must write his findings before moving to next stage, ensuring that his inquiry remain focused while still allowing flexibility and autonomy in how he approached the problem. And the second strategy is strengths-based teaching. In this approach, Alex is intentionally positioned as a classroom environmental consultant. Within group activities, he is given responsibility for reviewing other students' ideas and providing submission and structural feedback. And he also provides with extensional questions that require him to go beyond description and evaluate the feasibility, impact, and limitations of proposed environmental solutions. In addition, his work is regularly acknowledged through target teacher feedback, and that highlights specific strengths in analysis and reasoning. This ensures that his role in the classroom is not defined by past academic difficulties, but by his ability to contribute to meaningfully at a higher level of thinking.
Continue with proposed strategy for Alex. Our group proposed to use the structured collaboration through the jigsaw method with assigned group roles. These strategies aim to reduce social isolations while promoting positive peer interactions. Each student is given a clear and interdependent role within the group, meaning that all students contribute to the final task and rely on one another's participations. Importantly, teacher monitoring is embedded throughout collaborative activities to ensure respectful communications, equal participations, and a safe learning environment. For Alex, this approach could help rebuild peer connections, increase classroom engagement, and support both academic confidence and social well-being.
So going beyond standard practice, or with augmented reality. So what is it? It is a digital technology that allows images to be displayed as overlays onto the physical environment. Why is this useful for science? It produces visual structures for students to develop comprehensive understanding of abstract concepts. It's a fun way to stimulate learning and engagement and results in improved motivation. The information will be more digestible, so students will slowly gain the confidence to continue to learn. The user experience of augmented reality can support retention and stimulate different parts of the brain for effective learning. Students will also start to make their own mental connections about science in the real world. And this learning experience could possibly awaken a passion for science in Alex's bullies, effectively eliminating the bullying. And using AR on biology could create an inclusive environment as Alex becomes more comfortable with their own self-concept. So the strategy and implementation that we've decided to go with is based on the science teacher's lead. And what we expect them to do is to develop a performance improvement plan and to outline a timeline and propose that the senior science teachers implement using AR during their lessons and suggest the recommended teaching pedagogies for cohesive practice. With Alex, the science teacher will regularly observe and monitor Alex's behavior over a delegated period of time. And with Alex's parents, they will be sent an envelope with a copy of the infographic and a detailed letter discussing the purpose of the plan itself, how they can choose to stay updated on progress, whether that's through phone calls or short briefings, and recommendations on how they can encourage Alex at home since the parents are interested in being involved. For other teachers and relevant staff, they can use the educational management system as the formal channel of communication and regularly update Alex's profile. Following a timeline can really help measure the effectiveness of the recommended strategies, and it leaves room to reevaluate the plan. It also allows for an open invitation for other stakeholders to reach out to Alex's teacher and receive updates as necessary. So overall, in conclusion, Alex's academic and social emotional challenges require targeted interventions to reverse the effects of explicit instruction teaching and bullying. Through guided inquiry, strengths-based teaching, and structured collaboration tactics, we can reinforce and facilitate student-centered learning. It welcomes a healthy level of challenge and induces critical thinking. The supplementary use of augmented reality is also helpful to reduce the cognitive load and can potentially alter the biases surrounding science education. We believe that our strategy will improve the self-belief among all students and improve Alex's own self-efficacy and self-concept. Group tasks and class discussions on the experience will give Alex the opportunity to express their knowledge, reinvigorating their sense of identity and belonging, and encourages peer-assisted learning. Having a performance improvement plan for Alex is helpful in measuring the success of the recommended strategies, and a timeline is beneficial for communication among stakeholders with interest.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.